Long ago, deep in the forest, there was a temple known as Karuppa Swami Shrine. The villagers believed it wasn't just any ordinary deity shrine but the protector of justice. It was said that anyone who came to the temple with a sincere heart, offering crushed red chilies to the idol and praying for justice would receive their prayers directly from Karuppu Swami. People believed he protected the innocent and punished the oppressors in a way that would be remembered for generations to come. Time changes and the story reaches the present day. A man from a small village in Kerala comes to Chennai with his only daughter, Mira. Mira is battling a serious illness. Doctors have clearly declared that one of her kidneys is completely damaged and if she doesn't undergo surgery soon, she will surely die. To save his daughter, the father sells his entire life savings, mortgages the household jewelry, a small piece of land, and even the last memento of his wife. He had saved some money and gold, and that was their last hope. The train arrived in Chennai at night. It was raining lightly outside the station, and chaos reigned. The father quickly tried to find an auto rickshaw to take his daughter to the hospital. Suddenly, two masked men attacked them. They snatched the bag containing all the money and jewelry. The old man tried with all his might to hold on to it, but the men pushed him away and ran away. He followed them terrified onto the railway tracks and collapsed crying and screaming that the bag contained not only his jewelry but also his daughter's life. But the people present there only watched. No one helped him. Defeated, the two went to the police station, but even there they received only sympathy. Instead, the police began to suspect them. Some suggested they might have concocted a false story to get the insurance money, while others argued that they were just staging a drama. After much pleading and crying, the case was finally registered. Seeing his daughter's plight, the police arrest some petty thieves for his sarons attara to identify his culprits. Due to panic and shock, he fails to recognize any of them. Then, the police take the boys inside, brutally beat them, and force them to confess to a false fine. A few days later, the police report that the stolen goods have been recovered. Hope returns to the father's eyes, but when the bag is opened, there are significantly fewer jewels than before. He asks in a trembling voice, "Where did the rest of the gold go?" The police answer simply, the thieves must have sold it. The helpless father thinks that whatever he means might be enough to treat his daughter. But then comes another shock. The police say the jewels can't be returned immediately. The case must first be tried in court, followed by an order. Only then will the goods be released. This is where the real trouble begins. He is sent to the city's renowned lawyer, Krishnan, whom people consider a master of the law. On the outside, he appears extremely intelligent and influential, but in reality he is synonymous with greed and corruption. The police, court staff, and even judges obey his orders. His business is to extort money from poor people by prolonging their cases. He tells his father that if he wants his jewelry back quickly, he'll have to pay a hefty fee. The helpless man agrees. After this, every hearing becomes a new humiliation. Sometimes the police forget to bring evidence. Sometimes files disappear. Sometimes the judge goes on leave. With each hearing, the lawyer's demands increase. Furthermore, he has to charge his poor father for the food, alcohol, and entertainment expenses of his entire team. Gradually, the expenses mount to such an extent that lakhs of rupees are spent just on hearings. Mira watches her father break down. She feels she will never recover. Her health rapidly deteriorates. She often vomits blood. But the doctor keeps warning her again and again that he can do nothing if the operation is delayed. But her father has nothing left to sell. The hearing arrives when all the evidence is present in court. The police also arrive with their report. For the first time, the old father feels that perhaps he will get justice today. But then the judge suddenly announces that he has to go out on urgent business and that the verdict will be on the next day. Hearing this, the father's accumulated pain erupts. He asks in his trembling voice, "What's the problem with giving a verdict when the evidence is in front of you?" Hearing this, the atmosphere in the court changes. The judge becomes angry, and lawyer Balakrishna arrogantly declares, quote, "Does what it wants, this court it wants. No matter how much a poor person cries, justice is not obtained here without money." Completely devastated, the father reaches the old Karuppa Swami temple outside the court. He falls before the deity. He grinds red chilies in his hands, offers them to the idol, and sobs, "If justice truly exists, please save his daughter." His cry is so painful that it seems to shake the very sky. That very night, the strange phenomenon begins to unfold in the city. A strong storm blows, lightning strikes, and the sky is filled with red light. Then a mysterious force appears. He is no human being but Karupaswamy himself. With his massive figure, fire in his eyes and weapon in his hand, his appearance is so terrifying that even criminals tremble. Gradually, he begins punishing those who have exploited the poor boyhood. Corrupt policemen, brokers, and thugs fall victim to his wrath one by one. An atmosphere of fear spreads throughout the city. Krishna is the most terrified. At first, he thinks he's hallucinating, but soon realizes this is no human power. Karupaswamy confronts him and says that the biggest criminal is the one who has turned law into a business, who has built palaces on the tears of the poor, who... But then, instead of being afraid, Krishna smiles. He challenges God, saying killing him won't change anything. Thousands like him will be reborn. If true change is to be achieved, this rotten system must be defeated with justice. Hearing this, Karupaswamy momentarily calms down. He realizes that simply eliminating criminals isn't enough. It's also essential to restore people's faith in justice. He abandons his divine form and assumes the form of an ordinary human being. He now becomes a calm but sharp-minded man named Sarvesh. Sarvesh approaches the poor father and Meera and declares that his fight will no longer be based on fear but on truth. He decides to fight their case himself. But the corrupt court system, stands in his way. Bribes are demanded at every step, from the processing files to the execution of cases. Sarvesh, unflinching, begins to fight the system without giving in, and gradually his honesty becomes the talk of the town, and this is the beginning of a new war against corruption. The court battle takes an even more dangerous turn. The next day, a spectacle unfolds in the courtroom, leaving the judge in his tracks. Not one, not two, but 4 different lawyers stand up to represent the same poor father, each claiming to be the real one. Basically, the entire courtroom erupts in shouts and arguments. The judge angrily silences everyone, saying, let's decide who'll fight the case. Then the hearing will begin. On the surface, it seems like a mere joke but in reality, baby Rasmanina is behind it all. Her intention is to complicate the case further. The dates will keep getting extended, leaving the poor man completely devastated. Meanwhile, an honest female lawyer, Preeti Suru, discreetly approaches Sarvananda. Fear is clearly visible on her face. She says simply and quietly, this court may appear to be a temple of law on the outside, but on the inside it's completely sold out. Every decision has a price. Who wins and who loses is all decided by money. She also gives a stark example. A case involving an MLA was being heard in court at the same time. He was accused of misconduct with a woman, but the victim was demanding justice. But the real game was something else. The lawyer representing the woman, baby Kana, is a man, and the lawyer representing the staff is his own. This means the same game is being played on both sides. The decision has already been made. The staff must be saved at all costs. Seeing this, Sarvananda understands that this isn't just a family feud but a disease of the entire system. Binari. Sarvananda seeks help from the lawyers who were deliberately implicated in the case. But all they want is bribes. Some ask for money openly, others subtly. Then angrily, Sarvananda declares that he will win this case without a single bribe. There is a confidence in his eyes that calms the entire atmosphere for a moment. Suddenly, a moment comes when Sarvananda's true power is revealed. For a few seconds, a divine radiance appears in his eyes, and a strange energy spreads throughout the courtroom. The people present freeze in fear and astonishment. Although no one understands the full truth, Preeti Suru understands that Shravananda is no ordinary man. Karupaswamy himself is standing before him. Baby Kannan also notices this. He immediately makes a move and sets a new condition in court. He says that if God truly cares about justice for humans, then he shouldn't use his divine powers, ergo divamino. He must prevail only by following the law. Karupaswamy accepts this challenge, as he must achieve justice within the corrupt laws of humanity. Meanwhile, Panu is completely devastated. She cries, saying that half of her gold was stolen and what was left was spent on lawyers' fees and parties and food. Now she has no faith in anyone's justice, but Swarananda reassures her, saying that justice will be served the next hearing. The next day, Swarananda arrives at court with all the evidence and tells the judge that the jewels must be returned immediately. But the corrupt judge is unimpressed by his confidence. He arrogantly declares that in this court there is no one but him, but he then begins insulting Binu. He even comments on her clothes and says there's a way to come to court. Binu, unable to keep quiet, angrily declares that they're not here to show off their fashion but to demand their rights. This silences the judge. He immediately orders the girl to be sent to jail within a day. Binu or Mira is already suffering from kidney failure. Her condition worsens in jail. She begins vomiting blood and comes even closer to death. Sarvananda tries his best to reach a speedy verdict and to get her to the operating room, alerting. Finally, after a long battle, he wins the case honestly, without bribes, and gets the jewelry back. The poor father weeps with joy, believing his daughter will be saved. But then he receives a call from the hospital announcing Mira's death. Hearing this, the father's world is shattered. Weeping, he throws away the jewelry and exclaims, "What good are these jewels when his daughter is gone?" Seeing all this, Karuppa Swami realizes that fighting honestly doesn't always save lives. But baby Karnan taunts him, saying that if Sarvan had followed the system and paid a small bribe, the girl would have been saved, and his honesty cost her life. This statement pierces Karuppa Swami's heart like an arrow. Just then, the MLA case resurfaces. The victim decides to withdraw her case and give it to an honest person, as anyone who goes against baby Kanan's career is ruined. Just then, Sarvan steps forward and says he will fight for Rakesh himself. Now their fight is not just against the father, but against the entire corrupt system. In court, Preeti Sur argues for the woman, while baby Kannan, on the other hand, exerts all his strength. He tries to prove the woman wrong, claiming the MLA is innocent and that the woman herself was involved in the relationship. The entire court is filled with lies. But this time, Krishnamani has already played a bigger game. With his divine powers, he has exerted such an influence that no one can lie in the courtroom. Anyone who attempts to lie will automatically blurt out the truth. Baby Kanan is the first to be caught. He says one thing to save Amli, but it turns out that Amli is at fault and the judge is complicit in his defense. The entire court is stunned. The judge becomes enraged and has Kananan expelled. But now fear has developed within baby himself, and for the first time in his life he has spoken the truth. Gradually, other lawyers and officials in the court also begin to speak the truth. Gradually, many corrupt secrets are revealed. Complaints are filed against the judge. Seeing his secrets exposed, the judge decides to eliminate baby Cannon. One day, his car is set up for an accident. Some goons come to kill him, but due to Karuswami's influence, he too begins to behave strangely. One moment he talks about killing him, and the next moment he talks about taking him to the hospital. Baby's son is terrified. Then he spots a boat which says the city's border is ending. Adu Surya. Suddenly he realizes that Karuppa Swami is the deity of the border. His power is limited to a specific area. Beyond the border, his influence diminishes. This is when he hatches a new plan. He films the entire incident and shows it to the judge, claiming that if the court is relocated to this area, the deity's power will be nullified. He makes the excuse that the old court could collapse at any time. He incites all the lawyers to start a protest. He even has the judge murdered and stages it as an accident. Ultimately, the court is relocated. Upon arriving at the new location, Karuppa realizes that his divine powers are weakening. But now, people are afraid of him. Everyone trembles before lying. After some time, the case is reopened by the administration. A new judge takes up. Baby Kanyan tries to bribe him to get the verdict in his favor. But then Preeti Sur whispers that Karuswami is watching. The judge is terrified. He fears God will punish him if he gives a wrong verdict. Ultimately, he pronounces a verdict in favor of the truth and sentences Amli to 3 years in prison. Hearing this, baby Kanan is deeply shocked. For the first time, the empire he has built is crumbling. Fear spreads throughout the court. No one dares to accept bribes. Lawyers are afraid to take false cases. But baby Kanan is now one to give up. In a rage, he gathers his goons and decides to eliminate the judge and the honest lawyers so that the system can be restored to his control. When Karuswami learns of this, he sheds his human form and transforms into his true divine form, and a unique fire burns in his eyes. He roars, he is the one who makes the law. He is the one who upholds justice. This leads to a fierce confrontation between God and baby Kanan. In his arrogance, he finally cries out he alone is the law in the court. But Karuppa Swami is not one to let him go. He raises his massive divine weapon and with a single blow beheads Kanan. The entire court trembles. Karuppa Swami then issues a warning saying, quote, "This is the fate for anyone who takes bribes to escape justice or misuses the law." After baby Kanan's death, the entire system gradually begins to change. Each bribery in the courts decreases. People begin to speak the truth. Lawyers strive to fight only legitimate cases, and ordinary people begin to receive justice for the first time. But Karuppa Swami's fight remains unending. After transforming the court, he now sets his sights on the Legislative Assembly. This means his next battle will be against corrupt politicians and politics. And with this message, this story ends here. So friends, I hope you enjoyed this story. If you enjoyed the video, please like it and subscribe to the channel for more such entertaining movie explanations. See you in the next video.